Is all prepared then? Excellent. Then it is time for our friend to be invited to the shack. Go fetch him for me, would you? And be gentle, I would not have him damaged, if it can be avoided. I'll join you at the shack shortly. I have a few last things to prepare in the sanctuary.
What is the music of life?
Silence, my brother. Six Midyear, 4th Era, 202. The truth of what I have discovered cannot be denied, yet still I resist what it tells me. I have, it seems, always been an instrument of death. I have killed so many. Some were for my own purposes, revenge in particular. Other times it has been in service to fate. Most often it was survival, or to serve another person's plots or aims. Ithelia told me that Akatosh had given up what he loves to ensure that what must be comes to pass. If my fate then is Sithis, then would this not subvert the very nature of Sithis? Returning all to the void to ensure that all of creation continues? And this is beyond the ability of any one Mer to fathom. Perhaps my first instinct is the correct one. Perhaps it is time to seek out the advice of someone else, someone who has a better perspective on eternity than I do. It is time to go see an old friend. Walking back into Castle Volkihar was not an easy thing to do. How many months has it been? How long have I been away? Not long enough, it would seem. Though I was tolerated, it was equally obvious that the members of the clan were somewhat hesitant to approach me. Or so I assume. The main hall was nearly completely empty. Only one person was there to greet me. Serana was waiting for me, and she made the situation quite plain. Yes, I had saved the clan from almost certain destruction. Harkon's death was not frowned upon at all. My leaving them, though, giving up the gift I'd been given, that they could not understand. They would not kill me, but neither would they speak to me or assist me in any way. This was fine with me. It was not the clan I was here to speak to. I was here to speak to Serana. We talked for hours. Some of it was getting her up to speed on what had been happening outside the castle these last months. Some of it was the internal politics of her court, now that she was ruling it. I waited until it seemed there was nothing left to speak about before I brought up the entire Ithelia situation and my current worry on it. She was silent for quite a while, ominously so. Despite her actual age, a number she still refuses to give me, but that must be several thousand years at least. I keep forgetting that most of it was spent in a coffin, locked away from the world. Rather than give an answer, she instead bade me to enjoy myself for an hour or so while she spoke with a few of her more loyal followers. I don't know that I enjoyed the waiting, but I knew better than to push her. It was near sunset when she returned and we spoke more. She'd been looking for a way out for me as well, and though she hasn't found one, she does agree there is a way to delay the execution of the deal, so to speak. As much as she was prepared to turn me once again, her court had concerns. I had, after all, left them once. What was to prevent me from doing so again? They wanted commitment. True commitment. So, there were conditions. She listed them. The first would be simple. The second... The second made me smile. I say that the task is simple, and it is. It is also time-consuming. I had never thought to return to the Soul Cairn, but Serana pointed out to me that there was a small thing there that needed doing, something that honestly we should have done months ago after I tore Harkon to pieces. We should have informed Valerica that she was now a widow, and that it was safe for her to return to Skyrim, back to the castle, where she would be free to take a role within the revitalized court that her daughter was creating. The trek was a long one, and the surprise on Valerica's face when she saw us was eclipsed only by her total shock when I told her that Lord Harkon was not only dead, but long since so. She was a little upset that we hadn't told her already, but on the other hand, after being here for a few thousand years, what was a few more months? She'll be joining us at the castle shortly. As for the second task, well, for that one we needed to return to the castle ourselves to speak with Fura. A fiery vampire, that one. And she had a plan to try to end the continuing hostilities between the Volkihar and the Dawn God. 7 Midyear, 4th Era, 202. Fura's... I shall call it a request, since a demand would require me to take more precipitous action about her, is to actually try to end the fighting. We aren't ready for a direct strike at the Dawn God itself. Not yet. Our numbers are too depleted, our resources still too little. Instead, we start by whittling away their agents, preferably without them being able to track back to us directly. The first of these targets is a merchant out in Eastmarch in Kynesgrove. While I'm off dealing with this disguised member of the Dawn Guard, Serana will continue to look at my problem with Nocturnal, and see if she or the court might have any further ideas. Oh, and since I'll need every advantage I can get, Serana has turned me once again. The power is addicting. And feeling it return made me feel alive again in a way I've not felt in some time now. Perhaps I did make a mistake all those months ago. If I did, well... If I did, it has now been corrected. The merchant was in the Braidwood Inn, and though I tried to outwait her, see if she would go to her room like any normal human would at 2 in the morning, that turned out to be a waste of my time. Instead, I decided a more direct means would be required. So I approached her directly and told her to follow me, that I could lead her to the monster she was looking for. She looked slightly bewildered, but between her Dawn God crossbow on her back and her over-sharp way of looking at people, there was no way this woman was any merchant. She followed, humoring me. Once I had her in the woods away from anyone else, she died, feeding me. 8 Midyear, 4th Era, 202. The next phase of the plan is risky, as I will have to do it during daylight hours. The short of it is that the people of the province are paying far more attention to vampires than they usually do. This is largely because of the Dawn God, of course, who are still trying to recruit more members. I am heading for Windhelm. I will select a target, one that is relatively high profile, then, as publicly and as obviously as possible, I will murder this target. How will this help? Oh, because most people are stupid, and will only see what we want them to see. I will be dressed in Dawn God armor, and all the people will see is the Dawn God killing their citizens on what will look like how did Farron put it? The flimsiest of pretexts. Pressure on the Dawn God will follow, which will be less pressure on the clan and give us more room to maneuver. More time to plan the downfall of the Dawn God for good. I had plenty of time to decide on my target. By the time I reached the gates of Windhelm, however, I realized I had known for a long time who it would be. This target is high profile indeed, though not perhaps in the political sense. They have been a fixture in the city for as long as I can remember, certainly. One that almost everyone in the city, even visitors and travelers, will know. For Elder Early Dawn to be suspected as a vampire and then killed by the Dawn God will be a shock to the entire city indeed, and as ridiculous a claim as could be made, given her prejudices and activities. But it will, however, be very, very satisfying. After I walked around the city for an hour or so, making the Dawn God's presence known and obvious, I went to Candlehearth Hall. It had been a long while since I last tried using my vampiric abilities to command others, but I found that the skill came back with no troubles at all. I spoke with Elda, and once I knew my influence was upon her, I lured her out into the streets, between the main gate and the doors of her beloved Candlehearth Hall. I wish she could have seen my face, known who and what I was, really. It would have made it sweeter, I think. But when I plunged my dagger into her heart, as a Dawn God member would a vampire, after all, and saw the pain and surprise in her face for that one last second before the life left her eyes, she fell to the ground and died. I put the letter Farron had given me on the corpse and then strode from the city. I'm sure I'll be chased, but once I'm out of sight and can get out of this armor, I won't need to worry about bounty or being chased. All of that will fall onto the Dawn God. Exactly as planned. Elder Early Dawn, racist, bigot owner of the Candlehearth Hall of Windhelm, is dead. Plans had been made while I was gone, ones that I approve of greatly. The clan wants the Dawn God removed as a threat, since they are unlikely to ever truly be destroyed. Observe how this version of them rose from nothing not long ago if you need proof. Then the next best thing that can be done is to destroy the current leadership of the Dawn God. It is to be an assault on Fort Dawn God. My ultimate target, of course, will be Isren. I smiled when I thought about it. I'd once snuck into the fort and drank from him. He's a powerful old orc, and I still recall with relish the taste of his blood. The note that I left him the one that I am sure has left him in terror ever since I did it, was something I still think of as a master stroke. He has lived in terror long enough. As an old and dear friend, I should relieve him of that terror, should I not? I left for Riften immediately. Though I have no intention of taking the entire fort on during daylight hours, I will not waste more time than I need to. I will arrive just before dawn and sleep some hours at Honeyside before I begin my attack. 9. Midyear, 4th Era 202. Strange, the entire exterior of the fort was deserted. I know the Dawnguard is still active, as I passed several of their patrols on the way to Riften, as well as one between Riften and Dayspring Pass. Perhaps Farran was right, and they truly are desperate for recruits, but if that was so, why sacrifice their home security in favor of patrols? It makes no sense. And it makes me very nervous, suddenly. Could they know that I'm coming? Or at least suspect it? The fort was all but empty. Most of the leadership was down at their meal for the evening, but I noticed that one in particular was missing. Isran apparently thinks too highly of himself to dine with his other members of the Dawnguard. Passing through the main halls, I made my way upstairs to find Isran sitting alone. So very alone. I made it quick for him, slamming my teeth into his neck and draining him before he could even begin to react. He did get out a small cry, however. I had to move quickly to avoid the search that the other leaders made. A close one, but worth it. They are all clearly scared now. They know that it was a vampire that killed their revered leader. Now they wonder, will they be next? Will the vampire leave, content to have killed Isran? And so they will live in fear for what will be the very short remainder of their lives. Isran, commander of the Dawnguard, is dead. Long ago, well, several months ago, when I first approached the Dawnguard, there was another who came with me, a farm boy who could barely hold a sword. I had predicted, I think, that he wouldn't last but a month in the Dawnguard before he became a corpse. I was wrong. Agmaer lasted quite a bit longer, becoming a trusted and valuable member of the Dawnguard. Indeed, he had become the one they trusted to train the rest of their recruits. That will no longer be required of him. Agmaer, recruit commander of the Dawnguard, is dead. I caught 3 in isolation. Durak was the orc who originally told me about the Dawnguard and was their usual field recruiter. Soreen Gerard was one of their loremasters, the one responsible for obtaining rune-marked weapons that have been causing the clan any amount of trouble lately, assisted by Gunmar. Durak never saw me coming and died with my teeth in his throat. Soreen and Gunmar I took down with arrow fire when they found Durak's body. Durak, master recruiter of the Dawnguard, Soreen Gerard and Gunmar, loremasters of the Dawnguard, are dead. The names of their leaders continued to dwindle. Florentius Banius, Dawnguard priest, is dead. Belival, Dawnguard supply master, is dead. Salan, former Vigilant of Stendar and co-founder of the Dawnguard, is dead. The last 3 were all in their sleep, a small mercy for them that they will not awaken to find their friends and brothers and sisters in arms all dead. I knew most of them for only the space of a few hours. Maybe less, in many cases. Looking upon their corpses, I tried to decide what it was that I felt about them, about what I had done. I felt nothing. Perhaps satisfaction at a job completed, nothing more. With their leadership now dead and the trust of the people severely wounded by my actions in Windhelm, I think it is safe to say one more thing about the Dawn Guard. The Dawn Guard is dead. 10 Midyear, 4th Era, 202. The celebrations at Castle Volkihar when I brought the news were understated, of course. These are vampires who have been around, some of them, for thousands of years, not children who have been told they no longer need to do their chores. As Fura reminded us all, the head may be removed, but the body can wriggle around for quite some time. The Dawn Guard may be dead, but someone or something else will rise up in its place eventually. In the meantime, the clan can turn to other concerns. Sorana has put a hold on all conversions for the time being, as well as a dramatic reduction in the number of cattle that may be gathered. Until the clan is again beneath most people's notice, we must be cautious. That aside, we have a number of artifacts to hunt down that will increase our power. And of course, we have my other problem. Sorana has not been idle these last days, and she has reached her conclusion. Her conclusion, unfortunately, matches mine. I can delay my deal with Nocturnal, but there seems only one power that is great enough to void it. No pun intended. She agrees with my conclusion that Sithis is the only possible solution. That said, she is as unsettled by that choice as I am as well. Sithis is... well, the Daedric Lords all but refuse to speak of him. Mafala even is reluctant to mention him. That leaves him as a mystery, but there is one thing that is for certain known. There is one group in all of Tamriel who worship him. One way to possibly gain his attention. As the Thieves' Guild looks to Nocturnal, the Dark Brotherhood looks to Sithis and his handmaiden, the Night Mother. The problem, then, is how to gain their attention. The very method of gaining a contract with them relies on them coming to you, not the other way around. They must have a way to recruit, though. They must keep an eye on things, seeking new members. Though, perhaps not. It is no secret that their influence has waned in recent decades. Sanctuary after sanctuary of their kind have been rooted out and destroyed. It might even be possible that they no longer exist, despite Maven's claim to having ties to them. And it was that thought that spurred an idea in Sorana's mind. The Thieves' Guild would not approach me until I had shown that I knew their skills and methods. Perhaps the Brotherhood worked in a similar way. If I could plan and execute a series of kills across all Skyrim, take down people who are supposedly untouchable, and do it away from the public eye, where nobody should have been able to get. Would this not draw attention throughout all of Skyrim, especially those who would have the best of uses for the demonstrated skills? The idea made sense to me. The question would be who to seek out, who to murder. We spent the remainder of the morning hours tossing names around. Some were discarded almost as soon as they were uttered, such as that fool Nazim in Whiterun. Too many people would kill him given the chance, and there were so many ways it could be done. No skills required. Others, though. Others would make the point we wanted quite well. We slept on it, deciding to finalize the list that evening. The list was a short one, but it would certainly sow some discord in Skyrim when it was over. Minus a few names that I had already killed in recent months, it was almost a list of the most powerful men and women in Skyrim. One by one, I would find them and kill them, drain them dry in their sleep, perhaps. Others would die with daggers in their hearts. Whatever took my fancy at the time. Even better, some of them would be people I knew, so as to be sure that the trail would not lead to me. Esbern of the Blades, Calcelmo, whose usefulness to me had ended. Jarl Maven Blackbriar, whose death should most certainly draw the attention of the Brotherhood if there is, in fact, a connection. Thane Erikur of Solitude, General Tullius and Legate Ricker, Thane Battleborn of Whiterun, as well as Thane Greymane, Emissary Elenwen of the Aldmeri Dominion. All of these would serve multiple purposes. Almost Jarl Balgruuf was on the list, but in the end, I respect him too much. One of the few, apart from Serana, that I can say this about. Lord Azura, as all the Daedric Lords, taught me something when I served her, and it applies now. Destiny cannot be avoided. It can only be delayed. If the void is my new fate, then it was time I went looking for it, instead of waiting for it to claim me. I left the castle before sundown, but by the time I got to the embassy, it no longer had any hold over me. It took some small doing to get by the sentries, but eventually I did so and re-entered the embassy for the first time in months. The number of guards was significantly down, as I had expected, but my target was not entirely unguarded. Several more people died before I could get some alone time with Elenwen. She was surprised to see me, of course. Not that it mattered once I used my vampiric abilities on her. She was more than willing to do anything I was wanting to do once I had. And though I had several ideas of what I could do to take advantage of that situation, I stuck with my plan instead. A drink was all that I wanted, and she was dying to let me have it. First Emissary Elenwen of the Aldmeri Dominion is dead. I made my way to Solitude. One may be forgiven for thinking that my targets here had only hours to live, and in many cases they might have even been correct, but they would not understand that the kills themselves are only part of the game being played here. Consider. The first to die is first emissary to Skyrim from the Aldmeri court. When she is found dead in the morning, along with many of her trusted advisors and support staff, the Aldmeri Dominion will want answers. Given how close the seat of the province is, it will be only hours before a representative will be in the Blue Palace demanding blood for this affront to the Dominion. Jarl Elisef will try to assure them, of course, but she will ultimately be unable to do anything about it. Now, the next night falls. One of Elisef's Thanes and 2 members of the Imperial Legions are all killed. What do you think? Will the good people of Solitude think of this? I believe you can follow the purpose now. The fact that it lets me eliminate 2 people who abandoned me, and another who should honestly have been killed long since, is a bonus. So instead, I spent the remainder of the evening at the museum.